Support for this podcast comes from the FAU Master of Science in Finance program. The 16-month Master of Science in Finance trains current and future professionals for productive careers in financial management, investment banking, and investment management. The program includes Bloomberg certification and preparation courses for the CFA Chartered Financial Analyst designation. Learn more at business.fau.edu/finance.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nightline. I am Rainford Knight, finance professor in the College of Business at Florida Atlantic University. Joining me today is my guest, Mr. Paul Pagnato. Paul is the CEO and founder of PagnatoKarp, an award-winning multifamily office and wealth management firm with over $4.8 billion under management. Paul has been featured in Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Bloomberg, Reuters, and Fox Business, just to name a few. Paul is the author of Transparency Wave, a new book he has written, and we'll talk with him later about that. Paul is also an FAU alumnus and a member of the FAU Foundation Board. Welcome, Paul.
My pleasure. Awesome to be your guest, Rainford.
Thank you for being here today. The big question, let's jump right into this. The big question is the economy. We've got surging virus cases, record unemployment, record jobless claims, rising corporate bankruptcies. What's your take on all of this?
It's a challenging time. Over 40 million people have lost their job. And the report that just came out, another million some claim for unemployment. So with the COVID pandemic, it's extremely challenging. There is positive news on the horizon, though. A couple things. So number one, the expectations by some of the leading authorities are sometime before the end of the year, we should have a couple companies having breakthroughs with vaccines. So we need a vaccine for people's confidence and for the economy to really start moving along. You know, we are in a global world. Over 50% of our earnings, of the S&P 500 earnings, come from overseas.
Right.
So it's not just a domestic item that's impacting our economy, it's what's happening overseas. Europe announced they're probably going to shut their borders, not allowing U.S. Citizens over there here shortly. So it's a very, very challenging time.
No, absolutely. And the economic impact, for example, of Europe closing its borders, that should be tremendous. I mean, we're already looking at projected a negative GDP of 30% or so for Q2, and Q1 was in at a negative 5%. So economically, it will be very, very damaging, to say the least. Now, given the current environment, we know the dark clouds. What are some opportunities do you see in this market, both in terms of financial and employment opportunities in the context of this pandemic?
Yeah, the markets are extremely bifurcated. I've never seen the market so bifurcated between the winners and the losers. So if you look at what, some of these things are obvious, maybe some not so obvious, but if you're in leisure, travel, in-store retail, autos, real estate, healthcare, those sectors have just been decimated. It's been so challenging. But some of those trends were already on their way. The pandemic just accelerated everything. The winners, places that are doing well, and I believe will continue to do well, is e-commerce, telemedicine, genomics, autonomous vehicles, communication tools, work from home things such as Slack and Zoom, big data, cloud computing, AVAR, like Snap. They're all doing very, very well, and I believe will continue to do well. On the job front, while we're in this quarantine environment, so if you're still in school or if you've lost your job, if you're very unfortunate, you're one of the 40 million individuals that have lost their job and you have time, or you're in quarantine, you have time, maybe a fabulous opportunity to obtain a certification online or an advanced degree. And if so, having proficiency in programming, machine learning, AI, app, digitization, engineering. These are where all the jobs most of the jobs are being created. And in fact, there's a lot of companies that have job openings outstanding. They just can't find the qualified people to fulfill those jobs.
Right. No, absolutely. This is a great opportunity to upskill yourself in preparation for some return to normalcy. Your book, you're the author of Transparency Wave. Could you talk to us a little bit about the book and sort of the implications as you look around the world today?
You bet. So we've had 3 massive transformations that have occurred with our economy and technology and innovation. The first one was the communication period, which was a couple hundred years ago. Think about it. We had the telephone, the automobile, the airplane, the printing press. All of those things occurred and enabled human beings to communicate and transact and translate at levels never seen before throughout human history. That brought us into the digital era, which we're all living through as we speak. Initially, it was created, once the internet was created, that launched us into email and digitization, and text, and all the things, tools that we're using today, Zoom. So the advanced phase of this digital era is transparency. And transparency is happening because of machine learning and AI. There's nowhere to hide, right? So you think about what's happening today, people are being called out almost on a daily basis about quotes and things that they're saying that are not accurate. Facebook, Twitter, they're changing their policies because of this period that we're now in. So it's very difficult for human beings to be fully transparent. It's the hardest thing in the world for me, and I believe most humans, because we feel vulnerable when we're transparent. But we've entered this era where advanced digitization is just, it's demanding it. And people are now demanding this upon one another. So I wrote the book to help people have confidence to be transparent and to lean into it and to embrace it.
And so looking around today, technology is really, really leading the drive to more transparency.
Without a doubt. Every month you have new advancements that are occurring that are uncovering lack of transparency, whether it's in the sports industry, whether it's in the social media space, the print. You can go through every single industry. It's being revealed lack of transparency. And the companies that are having the courage to lead and bring transparency to new levels in those various industries, they're the ones that are growing. Those are the companies that are growing exponentially.
Very, very interesting. And I think that the future is really going to be about transparency, particularly as technology drives all of this innovation that we're seeing happening in all types of industries these days.
Yeah. And think of it as phases, right?
Yeah.
So when an airplane was first created, people feared the airplane. People would not get on an airplane or even an automobile. People feared those things. And now everybody embraces it. We can't live without those things. It's no different with transparency. People fear that they're going to be judged. People feel they'll be vulnerable by being totally transparent about something. And they're fearing it. Well, it's just a matter of time. Those fears will go by the wayside and we will have full transparency. At the end of the day, transparency changes everything.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Paul. That was very insightful. Once again, thanks to my guest, Mr. Paul Pagnato, CEO of PagnatoKarp. Nightline is part of the FAU College of Business podcast network. Learn more at business.fau.edu/podcast.